Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. On Wednesday, a high-stakes dinner in Berlin brought together two of Europe's most influential leaders, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and French President Emmanuel Macron. Their meeting comes just days before a looming deadline from Washington as the U.S. threatens new tariffs on European goods starting August 1st. But that's not all on the table. Talks also touched on the future of a troubled European fighter jet project, FCAS, and on long-term support for Ukraine. As always, the spotlight falls on the Franco-German partnership. Is it still Europe's engine or just its emergency brake? Now, to help us unpack what's behind the public statements and where things might be headed next, we're joined now by Romain Le Quiniou, Managing Director of the Paris-based think tank Euro Créative. Hello and welcome to TVP World. Good to have you.
Hello, thanks for the invitation.
So it looks like this was a united front. I mean, this was a late dinner. It seemed very choreographed. What's your first reaction from this? Is this engine now revving Berlin and Paris, or is it sputtering? What's your takeaway from this meeting from yesterday?
Well, I think it's always a good idea to invite a French to have dinner, right? We are very much productive at that time of the day. But more seriously, I think that it's a needed consultation, of course. One of the reasons is to coordinate on the big topics, the tariffs on the US, also the war in Ukraine, the security in Europe, and as well as bilateral issues. We know that there is a more general picture in which France and Germany have been, competing, having a lot of different tensions over the past few years, especially during the mandate of Chancellor Scholz. And I think this is very important for these two countries to reset these relations. And I really insist on the term reset, because this is what we are seeing right now. We don't know if it will be completely successful. We know that France and Germany have different positions on very important topics and divisions remain. But at least on the political level, we can see that both from Paris and Berlin, there is a willingness to engage more easily, to engage more generally on different topics, and to make sure that the Franco-German couple, as we say in France, can restart, can be re-enginized, and can basically deliver for Europe, because this is what we are talking about. It's not just a simple bilateral relation, it's a bilateral relation which is very important also for the whole of Europe.
Mm-hmm. As you said, it's stress there, Romain, about a reset. I know there's no secret that relationship wasn't so great under Olaf Scholz, the previous chancellor, but also looking at the future of these two countries as well. In particular as well, I want to just kind of think about the way of their approach to tariffs in the United States. Now, France has been really trying to push more of an aggressive response. Germany always kind of stepping back. We're talking about let's not have such a harsh policy towards America, which has now won out, because in the mix now we also have the EU preparing its retaliatory measures. So which is now the united front? Which one out? Did Macron win this one or Merz?
I don't think there is any victory for anyone. At the moment, indeed, there is apparently consensus when it comes to the potential retaliatory measure from the European Commission in case Donald Trump is not willing to process with an agreement. So I think Paris, Berlin, and most of the European capitals are on board, right? When it comes to the negotiations, indeed, there is a different approach from Paris and Berlin for the simple reason that they do not have the same stakes. Berlin is much more pragmatic, is okay to negotiate, is okay to have a rush that is as fast as possible, because they want to advance, progress, and make sure that now they have a clear vision for their own sectors. And here, why Berlin is so pragmatic, because they basically understand that to save some of the important part of the economy and to protect some parts of this economy, and I'm thinking here, for example, about the automobile sector, which is extremely important for Germany, they might agree on having a deal that is not perfect. And this is the position of Germany. When it comes to France, France has less critical relations in terms of business with the US. France has also a different relation towards the United States, both the elites, political elites, as well as the population. So there is more margin of action when it comes to France, and France has been very clear that it's by having a strong position that we will negotiate the best deal. We should not rush it. We have time to negotiate. the cards are in our hands, and the European Commission should not be naive, should not follow a position such as the one taken by the United Kingdom, for example, and accept a bad deal. We should fight back. The US has a lot to lose from a bad deal with the European Union. So, we should not be pressured. This is something that we have to negotiate together.
All right, so still something, as you said, a unity that's hopefully moving forward on this topic. Speaking of unity, or maybe a bit more on the tension front, let's look at defense. I mean, this is also an area where Germany and France want to do more, to be more independent of the United States in case America does pull back, which it's already kind of doing at the moment. Looking at the FCAS project, this top-of-the-line fighter project, also including as well Spain as well, there's a conflict here. What's the future of this? I mean, this was seen as the symbol of exactly this defense unity and cooperation between Europe, and especially between Berlin and France and Paris. So where is this headed now?
Well, the truth is that we don't know. And this is a big issue because, we are talking already about the FCAS with an horizon of 2040 for the new generation of fighter jets. But we don't have time, to just discuss, to find compromises and to delay and delay. Already people are saying today that the 2040 deadline is not already possible to achieve, and we are talking already about delays that would put this potential fighter jet for Europeans back to 2045. I mean, this is not responsible, but we understand that there are a lot of tensions. We saw in the past few weeks a lot of declarations from both German and French defense industry leaders, especially from Dassault and the CEO Eric Trappier, that was mentioning that the situation is not good because there is simply no way to progress. There is simply no leadership in this project, and this is something we have to fix. And I think here is right. There is a need for leadership. But in the same time, this is a big business deal. This is something where defense industries in both countries, but not only, as you mentioned, Spain is part of it, and other European companies are also part on smaller components. But this is a big business discussion. And that we have to understand. But in the same time, Europe is facing one of the most difficult and dangerous security situation over the past decades. And we cannot just, talk, sit, discuss, delay decisions. We have to act. And I think here, from the French side, we are very clear. There is a need to go forward. And if it's not going forward, well, with the FCAS, we will have to find another alternative. So This is where we are. I really hope that Macron and Merz can provide this leadership, can try to convince everyone back in Paris, in Berlin, and everywhere else that we need to step forward. Maybe we will not find the perfect deal, but we need to have the perfect plan. And this is the bottom line of this meeting as well.
Looking for the perfect plane, and also, I mean, as you said, different types of factors here in terms of business. It's a big decision, but nevertheless, how much? I mean, if we're looking also at next year, that's going to put France into election mode. I mean, how much of that potentially is now also weighing in on this? Because I mean, if ultimately an election, and then also with the far right very much as a potential for the future of France. I mean, that's a lot of pressure at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is a lot of pressure, and we have to acknowledge it. Unfortunately, the situation is not good in France. It was not good a few months ago. It will not be good in a few months. First, there is a political panorama that is really bad indeed, with the far right being by far actually the first and the most popular political party in France. So it put the next elections, presidential especially, at risk in 2027. But also we have a situation that is not easy at all. There is no majority. There are a lot of tensions within the government. So, since the dissolution back last year, the situation is very worrying for France. At the same time, there is a budget deficit that we have to fix, but there is a lot of tensions around the budget negotiations. So, it's not impossible that back after the summer, these discussions, very heated discussions on the budget, could lead to the fall of the government. And then what we will have, there is the scenario of anticipated elections. Maybe there is also this scenario that we will have to form a new government. Probably, but the situation is not good at all in France, politically speaking. And of course, it affects its credibility. And of course, it affects its influence. And France doesn't have the leverage today at the European Union level to lead as much as Paris would like. Whether we like it or not, this is a reality. Paris has less leverage because of the political situation as well as because of its financial constraints.
You're saying, I want to ask you one more quick thing because I'm conscious of the time. I just want to ask you very briefly, just a short one. You're saying Paris has less leverage. I mean, one of these things, we always talk about the Weimar Triangle. Is this also a point now for Warsaw to step in more? I mean, that's also been touted many, many times. Is this the next sort of keen partner in this triangle? Just briefly at the end.
That could be, of course, that could be, but also Poland is not in the perfect situation politically. There is now divisions between the president as well as the prime minister. So this is difficult. We know the relations are not so good between Warsaw and Berlin. And I think that Warsaw, the Weimar format, is the perfect opportunity when politics in the three different capitals are not perfect. So I hope that this format will help Paris, Berlin, Warsaw to find solutions at the European level and to provide leadership. We need leadership, and this leadership at the moment is lacking very dramatically in Europe.
All right, so we'll see about who takes that leadership mantle, but that's for another time to analyze. Look, we'll close it there. Thank you so much, Romain Le Quiniou. Really appreciate your insights there from France.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And that concludes World Talks, but stay tuned. World News is coming up with Claudia Travinska right here on TVP World. Goodbye.